Hey, basketball fans, welcome back to Tips and Streams, your go-to spot for the hottest NBA regular season predictions. I'm Kokan, and I'm here to break down today's matchups and give you the edge you need to make the best bets. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. Your support means the world to us. Remember, our channel has no sponsors and relies solely on the love and support of viewers like you. Even a small donation by pressing the thanks button under the video helps us keep bringing you top-notch content every day. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and fellow basketball enthusiasts. And we love hearing from you, so drop a comment below and let us know what you want to see in our forecasts. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you the content you crave. Let's jump right into today's NBA predictions. We've got some exciting games lined up, so stay tuned and let's get that winning streak going. Today we have predictions for 5 NBA games. The first prediction for today is for a game between the Philadelphia 76ers and Chicago Bulls. The Philadelphia 76ers are hitting the road for a showdown with the Chicago Bulls, and this one has all the makings of a fascinating matchup. We've got two teams with very different styles and a shared struggle to find consistency this season. Let's break it down from a hoops perspective. The Bulls are coming off a frustrating 132-123 loss to the Pacers, a game where their defense completely fell apart, snapping a modest 2-game win streak. With a 10-14 record, they're sitting 9th in the East, but their trajectory feels shaky. Offensively, they're a solid unit, ranking 9th in offensive rating, thanks largely to Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic. LaVine's been cooking, averaging 21.2 points while shooting 50% from the floor and 42% from deep. Vucevic is nearly putting up a double-double every night with 21.7 points and 9.9 boards, anchoring the inside. But the defense? That's where it all unravels. They're ranked 26th in defensive rating, and the cracks were glaring against Indiana, where they allowed a scorching 60% shooting from beyond the arc and got outworked on the glass. On the flip side, the 76ers seem to be figuring things out after a rough start. They've won 3 of their last 4, most recently locking down the Magic 102-94. Their 6-15 record may not impress, but there's a sense that they're building something. A lot of that credit goes to Paul George, who's taken charge while Joel Embiid's availability remains spotty. Against Orlando, George dropped 21 points and dished out 9 assists, while Tyrese Maxey has been electric, averaging 24.3 points this season. Rookie Jared McCain has also been a revelation, chipping in 16 points per game and bringing much-needed energy. Defensively, the Sixers are on the rise, now ranking among the league's better teams in defensive efficiency. Holding Orlando to under 100 points showcased their growing discipline. But their offense remains a sore spot. They're still bottom 4 in offensive rating, which means they'll need every bit of their defensive edge to keep stacking wins. This game is set to be a battle of tempo. The Bulls like to push the pace. They're the fastest team in the league, while the Sixers operate at a grinded-out, second slowest pace. However, since George's return, Philly's shown they can speed things up when needed, and that might be the move here to exploit Chicago's leaky defense. Joel Embiid's status is the wild card. He's questionable, and without him, the Sixers will lean heavily on George and Maxey to generate offense. On the other side, the Bulls need to tighten up defensively and crash the boards hard to have a chance at holding down the fort at home, where they've struggled to a 3-8 record. Looking at the matchup, the Sixers have a clear defensive edge and enough momentum to take advantage of Chicago's weaknesses. If Philly keeps up their recent form, they've got a great shot at walking out with a win. My gut says the Sixers pull this one off, but the real play here is in the points market. With the Bulls' fast-paced style and Philly's willingness to run more, this feels like a game where the scoreboard lights up. My call? I'll ride with the Sixers at +2, but my money's on the safer bet, taking the total points over 230. This game promises to be an entertaining one, and I see Philly keeping their upward climb alive with a hard-fought W.
Welcome to BetUS, Sportsbook and Casino, your ultimate hub for secure and thrilling sports betting and casino gaming. BetUS is one of the oldest and most reliable online sportsbooks in the U.S., serving millions of clients all over the globe each month. BetUS, trusted for over 30 years, offers huge welcome bonuses, countless betting options, and many deposit and payout methods. Depositing funds is a breeze and safe, with a minimum deposit of just $10. Payouts are fast and hassle-free, beginning at only $50. Choose from various payout options like MoneyGram, couriered check, cryptocurrency, or bank wire. Signing up is quick and easy. For signing up, you can use the link in the description and enjoy a generous 125% welcome bonus of up to $3,000. By signing up using the link in the description, you'll also support us as we earn a small commission from your registration at BetUS. Thank you for supporting us. Join now and start winning.
The second prediction for today is for a game between the Denver Nuggets and Atlanta Hawks. All right, here's the deal with this Nuggets-Hawks matchup. Denver's coming off one of those gut punch losses against the Wizards, and it's the kind of game that leaves a bad taste. Jokic? He was out there doing MVP things to putting up unreal numbers, but the rest of the squad? Let's just say the help was MIA. It's been a bumpy road for Denver lately, especially away from home, and this feels like one of those nights where they have to remind everyone who they are. Meanwhile, Atlanta is rolling. They're on a hot streak, and that overtime win against the Lakers was a statement. Trae Young is running the show, dropping dimes like crazy and scoring at will. The Hawks have this vibe right now, like they're clicking on all cylinders. DeAndre Hunter is stepping up, the bench is doing its thing, and they're finding ways to win in tough situations. Momentum is definitely on their side. The chess match here is wild. Jokic is just a matchup nightmare. There's nobody on the Hawks who can even think about slowing him down. That's a given. The question is, will Denver's supporting cast show up? If Gordon's back, even at 80%, it could make a world of difference. His defense and ability to finish around the rim are key. And Jamal Murray? If he can find his rhythm, this game flips fast. On the Hawks' end, they need to keep that energy alive. They're rested, confident, and have the crowd behind them, but their defense has been leaky, especially against shooters. Denver's ball movement can shred defenses like that, so Atlanta's perimeter D has to tighten up. If they let the Nuggets get hot from deep, this streak could hit a wall. Here's how I see it. Jokic is about to take this game personally. He's not just the best player on the floor, he's the best player in the league, and I'm expecting him to go off. The frustration from that Wizards game? That's fuel. If Denver can just give him a little more help, hustle plays, defensive stops, someone hitting an open three, they're stealing this one. The Hawks are dangerous, no doubt, but if Trae doesn't get going early, Denver can take control. I'm rolling with the Nuggets to bounce back in this one. Seeing them as underdogs? That just doesn't add up for me. It's a rare sight, and I'm not letting it slide. Jokic is about to put on a clinic, no doubt in my mind, and I'm counting on Gordon and Murray to do just enough to tip the scales. Covering that +4 spread feels well within reach, and that's where I'm placing my faith and my bet. This has all the makings of a statement game for Denver, a chance to show everyone why they're still a force to be reckoned with. Before we move on, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing might seem like a small action, but it actually makes a big impact for us. Plus, it's completely free for you. Have you clicked that subscribe button? Awesome, thank you so much for your support. Now let's dive back into the video. The third prediction for today is for a game between the Cleveland Cavaliers and Miami Heat. The Cleveland Cavaliers and Miami Heat are set to clash in what should be an Eastern Conference slugfest. Both squads are coming off games the night before, which means fatigue is bound to play a part in how this one unfolds. The Cavs have been straight up dominating the season with a stellar 21-3 record, while the Heat have been more hit and miss, sitting at 11-10. But don't let those records fool you. Miami's defense and the buzz of their home crowd always make them a dangerous squad to face. This one's no layup for Cleveland. The Cavs' offense has been cooking, putting up a scorching 121.8 points per game while leading the league with a ridiculous 40.5% clip from beyond the arc. Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland are the engines driving this team. Mitchell's ability to score at all three levels makes him nearly unguardable, and Garland's playmaking keeps everything humming. And then there's Evan Mobley. He's been a monster lately, cleaning up on the boards, swatting shots, and finishing with authority around the rim. When this team is clicking, it's like trying to stop a freight train. On the flip side, Miami's game is all about the grind. They thrive on defense, anchored by Bam Adebayo, who's as versatile as they come in protecting the paint and switching onto guards. Add Jimmy Butler's relentless two-way game, and you've got a team that lives to frustrate high-octane offenses. Tyler Herro and Duncan Robinson can light it up from deep, but the Heat's bread and butter is slowing the game down and forcing opponents to play at their pace. They're near the bottom of the league in tempo, but that's by design. It's how they control the narrative and make every possession a war. This matchup is shaping up as a classic clash of styles. Cleveland wants to push the pace and fill it up, while Miami will try to drag the game into the mud and make every bucket feel earned. Both teams played last night, so tired legs are a factor, and while the Heat stayed home, the Cavs are coming off a road game in Charlotte. That might give Miami a slight edge in the energy department, but Cleveland's depth could swing things back in their favor. Guys like Karis LeVert and their bench crew have been stepping up, keeping the pressure on even when the starters take a seat. I'm betting Miami will come out looking to dictate the tempo, lock up the perimeter, and force Cleveland out of its comfort zone. They're elite at taking care of the ball, ranking fourth in turnover percentage, which could limit the Cavs' chances to get easy buckets in transition. But here's the thing, Cleveland's shooting has been on another level, and when you're hitting over 40% from three, even the toughest defenses can crack under pressure. This one's bound to be a dogfight, and while Miami has the tools to make it interesting, their inconsistency this season makes them hard to trust. One night they're scrappy and locked in, the next they're struggling to string together stops. For me, the key will be who can own the boards and capitalize on second-chance opportunities. That's where games like this are won or lost. If you're asking for my take, I think Cleveland edges this one out. But where I feel most confident is in the total. With Miami's methodical pace and the potential for tired legs on both sides, I'm leaning heavily on the under at 225.5. The Heat rank near the bottom in tempo and take care of the ball like pros, so don't expect a track meet. Even if the threes start dropping, the overall pace should keep the score in check. It's going to be a grinded-out affair, and I'm rolling with the under as the sharp play in this battle of wills. The fourth prediction for today is for a game between the Phoenix Suns and Orlando Magic. The Phoenix Suns and Orlando Magic are gearing up for a showdown that promises to test the depth and adaptability of both squads. Injuries and inconsistencies have loomed large for these teams, making this matchup feel like a chess game with a few missing pieces. Still, there's plenty of intrigue as they battle for much-needed momentum. Let's start with Phoenix. The Suns have been up and down, sitting at 12-10 after back-to-back tough losses to Miami and New Orleans. They're missing their superstar Kevin Durant, who's nursing an ankle sprain, and big man Jusuf Nurkic is out as well. That's a serious hit to their firepower and size, but Devin Booker and Bradley Beal remain a dynamic duo. Booker has been the heartbeat of this team, dropping 25 points a night and keeping defenses on their toes. Even though he hasn't been at his most efficient lately, you can count on him to make big plays when it matters. Orlando, on the flip side, has a respectable 16-9 record, but has hit a rough patch with injuries to key players Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero. Losing your top scorers is always a gut punch, and the Magic's offense looks a bit shaky without them. That said, this team hangs its hat on defense, and for good reason. They're second in the league on that end of the floor. They've been grinding out games and are undefeated at home, so the Suns better be ready for a fight. Wendell Carter Jr. and Cole Anthony are stepping up as key contributors, but without Wagner and Banchero, their ceiling feels lower. This game might come down to who can capitalize on the other's weaknesses. Orlando's defense is elite, but they'll have their hands full if Booker and Beal get hot. Phoenix, despite their injuries, still has one of the most lethal backcourts in the league, and if their shooters start cooking, the Magic could be in trouble. On the other hand, the Suns' lack of size in the paint with Nurkic out is a glaring hole. Mason Plumlee will need to play big minutes, but it's hard to see him dominating the boards against Orlando's physical frontcourt. If the Magic crash the glass and control second chance points, they'll have a real shot. From a betting perspective, this one's tight. Orlando is slightly favored at -2, which makes sense given their defensive clout and home court dominance. But here's the thing, the Suns have the two best players on the court in Booker and Beal, and that kind of star power matters in close games. Even with their recent struggles, I like Phoenix's chances to cover the spread and maybe even steal a win. It's not going to be pretty though. Both teams are banged up, and this could turn into a grinded out kind of game. The total is set at 214.5, and I wouldn't be surprised if it hits the under, given the defensive intensity and offensive absences on both sides. Still, I'm leaning toward the Suns here. Booker and Beal can take over, and if they can knock down their shots from deep, that could be the difference maker. In my eyes, this game comes down to which team can impose their style. If the Magic can slow things down, dominate the boards, and force the Suns into tough looks, they'll be in the driver's seat. But if Phoenix gets into a rhythm from beyond the arc, it's their game to lose. My gut says the Suns' stars shine just enough to pull this one out, even in a hostile environment. Let's roll with Phoenix to cover and maybe even snag a much-needed win. The fifth prediction for today is for a game between the Minnesota Timberwolves and Golden State Warriors. The rematch between the Timberwolves and the Warriors this Sunday feels like the perfect setup for a statement game. Minnesota has been on a tear lately, putting together some seriously impressive basketball on both ends of the floor. Their defense has been absolutely smothering, holding opponents to just 85.5 points per game over their last 4 outings. That's the kind of effort that wins games, and they're doing it with a level of intensity that's tough to match. Anthony Edwards is leading the charge, and he's been nothing short of electric. Dropping a smooth 30 points against the Warriors on Friday, he looked completely in control, ready to dominate. His confidence is sky high right now, and that's a scary prospect for anyone lining up across from him. The Warriors, though, aren't exactly the unstoppable force they've been known to be in recent years. Sure, they've got the talent and the pedigree, but they've hit a rough patch, losing 6 of their last 7 games. Friday's loss to Minnesota was another example of how things just haven't been clicking for them lately. Curry was his usual self with 23 points, but he didn't get nearly enough help. Wiggins and Kuminga chipped in with 11 and 13 points, respectively, but that's not going to cut it against a team playing as well as the Timberwolves are right now. The Warriors' defense, which used to be their calling card, has slipped. They've been giving up big numbers to teams that they should be locking down, and without that edge, they're vulnerable. Minnesota has all the momentum coming into this one, riding a 5-game winning streak against Golden State and looking every bit like a team that's starting to figure things out. They've been streaky this season, no doubt about it, but right now, they're on the upswing. Their recent victories have come against solid teams, and they've done it with a mix of grit and execution. What stands out is how well they're sticking to their defensive principles, forcing tough shots, and controlling the tempo of games. For Golden State, playing at Chase Center should be an advantage, but even home court hasn't been the fortress it used to be. They're 6-4 at home, which is solid, but not intimidating. If they want to flip the script, they need to rediscover the defensive intensity that set them apart earlier in the season. They've got the offensive firepower. No doubt Curry, Wiggins, and Kuminga are capable of putting up numbers in a hurry. But they can't afford to get into a shootout with Minnesota. The Timberwolves have shown they can grind out wins and thrive in those scrappy, physical games. It's tough to win back-to-back games against a good team, especially on the road, but right now, the Warriors don't look like the same juggernaut we're used to seeing. The Timberwolves have their number, and unless Golden State comes out with a sense of urgency and tightens up on defense, it's hard to see them reversing their fortunes in this one. Minnesota's got the momentum, the defense, and a star in Edwards who's playing at an elite level. I'm rolling with the Timberwolves to keep the streak alive and take another W in what should be a hard-fought, high-energy game.